Hello, Adam Cook from GodIsAGeek.com here, and I'm here with the lovely, a bit tired and morose Colm Ahern.
I am a little bit tired, Adam. I won't lie. I am. It's Christmas. It's a busy time of the year, and I'm tired. I'm not going to apologise for that, okay?
But what we are going to do is just sweep all that away right now. Just come on. 1, 2, 3. Come on, just pep ourselves up. And talk about a game that doesn't require any pep because it's a thinking man's first-person game called the Talos Principle.
Indeed it is. And yeah, me being tired, it's not really an issue for the Talos Principle because, as you said, it's quite measured in its approach. And
but hang on, Colm.
Let's explain what it is.
What the bloody hell is the Talos Principle?
So the Talos Principle, Adam Cook, is a game which recently came out on PC. So recent
the
was
personal computer.
Indeed, to Linux, OS X and Windows on the 11th of December. It's by Crow Team. Now,
right.
Are you? Yes, you kind of like, right? I know that name.
No,
but
I
I'm
do.
Not,
Serious Sam.
Yeah, well, I see. All right, Adam, you were meant to kind of say, what do they make? And then I was going to be...
what did they make? Was it another personal computer video game?
It was indeed, Adam.
Oh.
But it's quite different to the Talos Principle. It's called Serious Sam.
Which I have played. And... Right. So they made that, and because I do know a little bit about that. But yeah, I'm just going to stop pretending. I do know a bit about the Talos Principle. I haven't played it, but I know what it is. And it doesn't seem very much like the Serious Sam franchise at all.
No. The Talos Principle is very much the thinking man's video game. Some would say a little bit up its own arse, but we'll get on to that. So, yeah, it's... People have compared this, and if you're watching the video version of this, you'll see sort of reminiscent to Portal, sort of, because at the end of the day, all first-person puzzle games are going to be compared to Portal, because Portal 2 is one of the best, I have no qualms in saying, one of the best video games of all time. I adore that game. This takes some of those elements because you're kind of thrown into this and thrown into the game, and there's a kind of a big garden type area in front of you, and you have different kind of doors around which you go into, and you basically must collect something resembling a Tetris kind of brick, which they call sigils, and you must collect a number of these, and which will then unlock a door which you can go through and, rinse and repeat. But each actual kind of room, if you will, they're very short little puzzles, but they are brain busters, like you kind of, at the beginning not so much, but as you move through the game, they do get a little bit tougher and tougher, obviously, and they introduce kind of more elements to the gameplay, because at the beginning you pick up these things called jammers, which can, when they're pointed at an enemy, which are these kind of floating balls which kind of move, they basically just move up and down. They have kind of set patterns, but if they see you, they'll just go straight for you and blow you up. There's like cameras as well, which when they see you, they'll just shoot you down. But with these jammers, you can basically stop them from functioning and move about your business. And you can, with these jammers again, you can unlock sort of see-through doors, stuff like that. But as I say, as you progress through the game, you get... Actually, this is reminiscent of Portal. Do you remember those sequences in Portal 2 where lasers are shooting out and you must deflect? Actually, how you use it is with portals.
Yeah.
You get the laser
move with the laser's trajectory.
Precisely, to get it to hit something to open a door, stuff like that. Like as you progress through the Talos Principle, you get stuff sort of along those lines.
Now, Colm Ahern.
Yes, Adam Cook.
You and I have been friends for quite some time now.
Sadly, yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to ask you to do something for me now that I know you find difficult. You ready?
Yeah.
I want you to cut the bullshit and tell me if this is good or not.
The Talos Principle is good.
Right.
It is really good. I'm quite enjoying it, and I can see myself playing quite a bit more of it. Like I've probably put in maybe an hour or two But I can see myself playing a bit more. However, I made reference to it being up its own arse.
Right.
And
But isn't Portal up its own arse a bit?
see, I would disagree. You're wrong, because
Getting in, like, you know, professional, like, voice actor, like someone like Stephen Merchant, isn't a bit up its own arse?
I don't think so, because like the
Alright.
Portal it's all based on humor, and it's quite.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, the Talos Principle. Another part of the Talos Principle is there'll be these little computer terminals around the place, and you'll interact with them. And at first, they're quite interesting, but there are these kind of documents within each terminal, right? Some of them will, I suppose, unlock some parts of the story. At the point that I'm currently in, I don't know. It's some sort of weird AI bullshit kind of thing going on. I'm not entirely too sure what's happening. It's not being outlined very well. And then other little files within these computer terminals are like Greek mythology, all fancy pants kind of, as I said, up its own arse type of metaphorical bullshit. Which is fine if you're into that. It seems quite removed from the gameplay at this point in time.
That all sounds really weird from the people who made Serious Sam, because that game is balls out. I mean, look, you know, it's nice. I'm trying to think of it. I mean, didn't, like, you know, that game you reviewed recently, Never Alone? No, it's not that game. I'm trying to think of the guys who were People Can Fly. You know, who made Bulletstorm.
The vanishing Ethan character. Yeah.
So it's not impossible for a developer to go like, you know what, we've made that game, and in fact, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool when a developer goes like, we're going to make something completely different now.
I love that. I love when you do see a developer kind of coming out with something completely different, and even to the point where people are kind of going, this is the same people, and it's like that's fantastic. It's just, whereas Portal, the gameplay and the story are quite, you know, they're quite linked. This just seems to be, I don't know, they're kind of two separate entities that, yeah, as I said, at this point don't really seem interlinked together. Like, there are other things within this world that you have, such as, like, there's little audio logs to give you more, I suppose, to just kind of fill out the lore of the Talos Principle and what exactly is going on. Like, one thing I do like is that you can kind of approach the game in whatever way you see fit. So after you finish the first section, let's say, you kind of go into this kind of central hub, which there'll be like 10 doors, and each door it'll tell you, there'll be a sign out at the front of it that will tell you what pieces, what kind of Tetris block looking pieces are within this particular area. But like, you don't have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. Like, you can go from 1 to 7 to 10 to, so like, if you ever get stuck on a certain area, you can kind of leave that lie for a bit and then approach another area, do a few bits and pieces there, and kind of go back and forth, which I do like. And it's quite pacey as well. It's quite quick, like your character itself. So like, if you go into an area, and as I say, some of the puzzles you kind of see them straight away, and it just clicks. You're like, okay, I know how to do this, and you can just kind of go in and just bang it out in 5 or 6 seconds, and just kind of get the block and just kind of head away. Other things then obviously take a bit more of a considered approach. But it's definitely, like, I mean, this has been highly regarded. Like, there's by many publications.
No?
It's coming to PlayStation 4 as far as I know.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, PlayStation are grabbing all these kind of games. That sounds dismissive, and I don't mean it to, because it kind of looks cool. And do you know what? Here's the thing: people often say about games like this, like, "Oh yeah," and it's kind of like that Portal 2 thing. But the counter to that is that there aren't many of those. So and Portal's amazing. So, like, that's fine with me.
Yeah. I mean, it is quite difficult because you're comparing it to as I said, what I consider one of the best games of all time, and it's very difficult to try and take that model.
I know it's always best in genre, but that doesn't mean someone else shouldn't have a stab at it. I mean, people will say the Assassin's Creed games
question.
are the best Assassin's Creed games because they're the only ones that do it. And then you get Shadow of Mordor, which I know you weren't personally keen on, but it not only takes that genre, but it changes it up with the Nemesis system, and people laud it for that exact reason. So it's kind of good to have someone else have a go at a genre. You know, in the same way that
of course.
Dark Souls has, you know, you call like Lords of the Fallen a Dark Souls game because they're the only games like it, and why shouldn't someone else have a crack? And by the sounds of it, this is good.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. As I said, it does think it is very, very clever. Not to the scale of a Fez, but it does think it is very, very clever. And there's a kind of do you know what? There's an air of snootiness about it. Actually, I kind of. That I get off of it, but even in saying that, I am still enjoying it, and I am still gonna. I mean, this is quite a good Christmas game, if you will. Like, it's not bombastic, it's nothing. It's like, as I said, it's just you kind of go in. You can go in quite relaxed and approach puzzles at your own pace, and it's quite nice in that regard. So yeah, I mean. Yeah, the Talos Principle, not bad. I must say, all right. One caveat is it's quite pricey. It's is it £30 or something? It's quite a pricey game. Like, I mean, it's probably quite long. It seems a little bit overpriced, if I'm honest. But in saying that, yeah, quite enjoying it.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're quite enjoying it, and hopefully people have seen the video and listened to what you've got to say, and make their own decision based on that. So, Colm Hearn, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Adam Cook.
And we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.
Bye.
My temple awaits you, child. Go forth